afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you are in Canada or where you are, I guess, in the world. And welcome back to National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada Behind the Bench. This is our first webinar of 2023, and it's hard to believe, but this is also being 2023. This is the first webinar of our fourth year of doing these webinars, and we started 3.5 years ago, and believe it or not, we started with myself interviewing the same guest that I'm going to be interviewing again, which is Michael Findlay, who's here, and we'll give it just another minute or so for the room to fill up with all participants and everybody that's registered before we get started. And I'll just say, to those of you that are here and those that are coming in now, of course, we're live. We go for about an hour, and I'll be talking. I'm sure Michael will be talking a lot, and we'll be speaking to each other. But we want to make this as interactive as possible. So please feel free. You can use the chat box or the Q&A box whenever you'd like to contribute. And I'll just sort of field the questions as much as I can, and I'm sure Michael will do his best to answer. And he's got so much knowledge and experience and everything to share, so I'm sure there'll be a real great benefit to all of you. Okay, so please feel free. Again, we'll make it as interactive as we can. Okay, so it's about 2 minutes after 2 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm Richard Bucciarelli. I'm going to be your host today. And I'm really thrilled to be joined by Michael Findlay, who's a friend and a colleague of mine, and we've crossed paths quite a few times. We actually worked in the national teams programs at the same time, but I don't know if we ever saw each other on the field. But I think we were at the Pan Am Games together, weren't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I was with the women's team when Michael was with the men's, and later on, we presented at a chiropractic conference. Believe it or not, that was all about soccer, and so we met there. We connected through the NSCAC. Michael was a keynote speaker at our very first convention back in 2019, and some exciting news to share with all of you that we do have a date and a location confirmed for our 2023 convention, which is coming up in about 3 months from now. That's in April of this year. And again, as I said, myself and our association, we stayed in touch with Michael, and he was, kind enough to join us as our very first guest when we went online in 2020. And now here we are. So the topic today that we're going to talk about is World Cup qualification with a specific view on CONCACAF. And Michael, I'll let him talk a little more, but, he's got a really unique background with regards to that topic, because he's been head coach and assistant coach of the Canadian men's national team throughout World Cup qualification, which didn't work out, but he's been there through that, and most recently, Michael was the head coach of the Grenada men's national team, and he also went through Gold Cup and World Cup qualification with them. I see already it looks like a question. Oh, good evening from Spain. All right, open the chat. Is the chat not open? Oh, hold on a minute. Yeah, everyone. Okay, here we go. All right, sorry about that, guys. Every single time we do these, the chat seems to be default open, but looks like it's not, but now it is. All right, so we got our technical difficulties out of the way. Michael, thank you so much for being here, and please, if you want to maybe just give us everyone that's here a little bit of a background. I spoke about you a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, Richard, as usual, thank you very much. I really enjoy these chats and these opportunities. You mentioned me being one of your first guests, and I was just looking at the screen there. I think I have more gray hair. I think I definitely have more gray hair, which, as we talked just before going on the air there, that football has a tendency to it creates certain aging processes quicker than other careers. I can tell you that right now. But no, an absolute pleasure. My relationship with the organization has continued because I have a great amount of respect for the work you are doing and the entire group is doing. I was a long time student, friend, associate of Tony Waiters, and he gave me so much of an influence on who I am, and I just believe strongly in coach development, and I welcome everybody. And right off the bat, I just like to say to everybody that I'm an open book when it comes to this, because I've been everybody, as they say, at the very beginning, coaching, single digit kids all the way up to being the men's national team coach of Canada and another country in Grenada. So I understand a lot of the things that a lot of you maybe are listening in. So please feel free to reach out to me after this if you have questions. And Richard knows that I'm pretty straightforward, and want to help as much as I can. So I'm really glad to be here, and I love the topic because there's nothing like a World Cup. So we can proceed in any way you would like to. What I thought I'd speak to you about is just a bit about World Cup itself, and also from a CONCACAF point of view, what the old was, what the new is, what the realities are that we're seeing within the zone. So
that's excellent, Michael. And I think let's start with that, just because we've got at least one now from Spain and a few from Canada, different parts of the country, and maybe not everyone is aware of exactly. So what does the qualification process look like now? What was it before? And I know it's changed since you were involved with the men's team in Canada too. So what's it all about now?
Well, I think first and foremost, CONCACAF is a very different confederation than the rest of them, and why I say that is because there's such a divide between competencies and realities and a number of different factors. And within CONCACAF, and like some of the other confederations, I will say this, is that you have to remember, there's 211 nations in FIFA. This is the greatest event in the world, bar none. The fact that in the next couple of weeks and months, we'll actually begin, not in Canada necessarily, but in the world, we'll begin qualifying for 2026 already. And we're just seeing the back end of Qatar 2022. Right. So the fact that this event even exists on the globe, it continually amazes me. But out of those 211 nations, only members from UEFA and CONMEBOL have ever been to the final. So you've got the African region, you've got the Asian region, you've got the CONCACAF region, you've got the Oceanic region. None of those teams have ever been to the final. So and so what you have to remember is that that's a dream that will continue to exist forever. But it hasn't actually seen a lot of success when it comes to some of the other regions other than these main CONMEBOL and UEFA regions. And so when you break it down and you look at CONCACAF, and you have 35 nations that are eligible to go to the World Cup. There's more nations in CONCACAF, but their relationship with CONCACAF is slightly different, but they can't qualify. So you got 35 nations, but only 11 of those nations have ever been to the World Cup.
Only how many? 11?
11,
right?
11 nations. Yeah. So and out of those 11 nations, 55% of that 11, about half of those have only been once.
Once, right?
So immediately when you step into the CONCACAF region and qualifying, it's a very, very sort of elite,
exclusive, it's an elite
exclusive group.
Yeah.
So the idea of trying to get there, as I said, that dream will continue to exist. It will never go away. I think it will always exist. Everyone sees it as this opportunity. Previously in CONCACAF, there was massive challenges, which I think have changed today due to the globalization of the game, technology, including television. The expansion of standards as it relates to delivering this competition. So the days of explosions going off in front of your hotel in Panama, or it takes 10 minutes to go to the stadium for match day -1, but then on match day it takes an hour and a half.
Somehow the GPS stops working.
Unbelievable. There was for some reason there was construction on the way. To the level of officiating, now with VAR and these types of things, the environments that we deal with in the lead up to 2022 and the lead up to 2026 are vastly different than they used to be. And that's why at times it was so incredibly challenging for all these nations. Mm-hmm. But as we've progressed now, we've seen this advancement in these areas of support. But I think something that the listeners have to understand is that all of these nations in CONCACAF, there's probably 3 key elements that affect them and their potential success. One is travel. The other one is competition. And then the third is the environments which they exist in. Going back to the travel first, you have distance, you have cost, you have visa issues with a vast majority of the countries within CONCACAF, mainly the Caribbean. A prime example would be Grenada, for example. I had players when I was in World Cup qualifying could not enter the United States. And the only way we could get to some of the areas that we needed to play in was to go through the United States.
Thank you for watching this short preview video from the National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada. To see the full video, plus have access to hundreds of other coaching videos, blogs, webinars, and podcasts, plus free and discounted coach education courses and other soccer merchandise, plus to have exclusive access to register for all future NSCAC conventions, both live and online, click on the link below to become a member of the NSCAC today. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, as your continued support allows us to continue to provide coach education and coach development resources to soccer coaches across Canada and worldwide. Thank you again for your continued support, and we look forward to seeing you at future NSCAC events.